Hi everyone, this is Rhythmic Gymnastics 101 and today we'll talk about the scores in rhythmic gymnastics. How are they calculated and what does it all mean? And before we start, just drop in a quick note here. In rhythmic gymnastics, rules are changing after every Olympics, so generally every 4 years unless COVID happens. And today we'll discuss what's relevant with the current code of points, and it might not be necessarily true for previous cycles and or for the future rules. One day I'll make a video to overview how rules changed over the time. Please comment if you'd be interested to watch this and subscribe to my channel not to miss when it comes. There are 3 components that make total score: difficulty, artistry, and execution. Basically, difficulty answers the question what was done, artistry how beautiful it looked, and execution evaluates whether the technique was correct. Difficulty can be gained in 2 ways, through difficulties of apparatus and body difficulties. Body difficulties can be a jump, a balance, and a turn of various shapes, and they also require some apparatus movement. There are also so-called risks, or dynamic elements of rotation, that are counted in body difficulty score. Risk is a high toss with 2 or more rotations under, mostly recognizable by some acrobatics involved. Also, there are 2 exclusions for risks that can be executed with only 1 rotation under. This one, when gymnast executes a series of 3 elements called illusion, with a toss before or during the first one and catch on the last one. And that one, same logic, 3 elements executed in a row, but with a series of jumps with rotation. It's also possible to execute both with more than 3 exact same elements performed in a row, but this is extremely difficult and so extremely rare to see. Difficulties of apparatus are basically all other tricks that you see during routine. It can be a small toss, high toss, catch from a high toss, or any other work specific to the apparatus. For example, with the hoop you often see rolls, spins around hoop's axis, and 3 rotations of the hoop on body part. For ball, it's mostly rolls and bounces. Clubs are well known for the small tosses of 2 clubs at a time and rotation called mills. And ribbon is recognized by different patterns drawn, called spirals, which are round shape, and snakes, that are sharper strokes. Difficulty score starts from 0 and goes as much as gymnast earns during 1.5 minute routine. At the top level competitions this year, this score is usually in the range from 15 to 19 for individual gymnasts. Let's move on. Unlike difficulty, both artistry and execution scores start from 10 and deduct artistry and technical faults throughout routine. Artistic faults list looks following, and even though there are a lot of things you can see are defined, it's still quite subjective. Mostly, gymnasts are deducted every time they miss an accent in music or just simply music and movement don't go along. When sequence of movements doesn't make sense, for example, gymnast turns around too often without reason, or there is no smooth flow between the elements. Also, each routine must have 2 sequences of so-called dance steps, 8 seconds of dance combination to highlight character of routine, and there is a 0.5 deduction for missing each. There is also one more expensive deduction of 0.5 if gymnast performs any movement when music is over. Execution deductions are a bit less subjective and mostly relate to the quality of movements performed. Every single move gymnast does is being evaluated, and gymnast can be deducted for incorrect technique of body element, apparatus element, acrobatics, too far toss, and of course loss of apparatus or falling down. There are also neutral deductions that are applied only when needed, often called penalty. There is a list of possible reasons, but mostly you'll see only following in competitions. 0.3 for gymnast going out of bounds, meaning crossing the red line on a carpet. 0.3 for apparatus going out of bounds. 0.3 for using the replacement apparatus. And 0.05 for each second beyond 1 minute and 30 seconds the gymnast was performing the routine. Okay, if you're still watching up to this point, you're awesome. Thank you. Let me know if that was useful, and I hope to see you soon.